Simon Lilholm's day not going as the way he wanted to. He's brought back on the, with the assistance of the marshals, a very similar incident in the end to Eli Goldstein, who also had his race ruined by the yellow flag incident. Plenty of racing still to go as we get ourselves ready for qualifying heat A-C. And this is going to be an interesting one. It's a preview of what could end up being the final. Mark Kimber versus Danny Curl. Both drivers have won a heat thus far. One of them has got to concede to the other. But the question is, who's it going to be? Plus behind them, we have Arnold Melizia on the inside line and Rens van Pelt on the outside line, along with Harry Platten for BMR and Carlos Saval for FA Racing Spain. Nicolas Pico, Thanapongpang Sutumnu, Xavier Hansheim and Camille Donic in the top 10 as well. From Milan Petelet and Kilian Belair, Sylvester Alexievas, Jan Gurvaerts, Sean Butcher, Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz, Sebastien Degrand and Corentin Pelletier. Plenty of top talented drivers to work their way around the course in this one. But away we go. And it's going to be an interesting one from the green flag as we go round for 2 laps of formation running. So Mark Kimber and Danny Curl will start the race from the front row of the starting grid. Arnold Melizia and Rens van Pelt from the second row. Harry Platten and Carlos Saval from the third row. Nico Picot and Thanapongpang Sutumnu on the fourth row. From Xavier Hansheim and Camille Donic. Milan Petelet and Kilian Belair are next on the sixth row of the grid. And then it is Sylvester Alexievas of Lithuania and Jan Gurvaerts of Belgium. Sean Butcher and Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz are next on the 8th row. Then Sebastien Degrand and Corentin Pelletier on the 9th row. And then we have Romain Leroux and Louis Westover on the 10th row. Morgan Porter and Ross Hayes will be fighting back from row 11. Gustav Brandin of Sweden and Masatora Wada of Japan are next on the 12th row. Then Reese Ushijima of America, along with Rivaldo van der Westerlaken of Holland. And then we have the Swiss lady, Lena Bühler, and Stefan Planchamp, her countryman. Toisko Avasco, Kevin Stehauer, Vincent Cavaliers, and Manuel Golofratone starting at the back of the grid. So this is going to be the first major test for Mark Kimber and Danny Curl. Both drivers have won each of their heats so far. This is their third start of the weekend, and neither of them will want to concede a victory. So it's going to be tough to know who's going to give way to the other. But we are now on the second of our formation laps. And as a result of that, we now have Kimber and Curl lining up on the back straights as they filter into their separate rows. So the senior X30s now form up into position. They're going to need to form up a little bit quicker. And now they get themselves into their rows. I wasn't sure we were going to manage it then. But the carts now get into their 2 rows and we get ready for a race start. Hopefully it's going to be a clean one. The field is going to back down a little bit from the line. Let's see if 11 laps can run smoothly this time. We get the race underway, and it's a cracking start from Arnold Melizia, who goes straight into second position past Danny Curl. But the race leader is still your man at the front, Mark Kimber. Kimber, Melizia, Danny Curl, and then in fourth position, that looks to me like Harry Platten has come through into P4 in front of Rens van Pelt. Yes, he has. So Harry Platten has got a good start and has moved up into P4. Great start from the BMR driver. But Mark Kimber leads the way. Danny Curl is now behind Arnold Melizia, but he's not made the move yet. Platten is hanging on in front of Rens van Pelt for P4. Up at the far side of the circuit, still good battling as the drivers weave their way through the faster parts of the course. Up through the hairpin at turn 10, then back on the power. Through 11, quick flick. Keep the power going through the 12, then break down for the 13. And now Danny Curl's got a run on Arnold Melizia. Is he going to get through into second position straight away? No, he's going to work with him to catch up to Mark Kimber. So they're both going to go together. And then we've got Harry Platten still there in 4th position in front of Rens van Pelt. And the man in 6th position, I think a bit of a mistake there for Carlos Saval, tucked up behind Nico Pico. So a bit of an issue there. Danapongpang Satumno is 8th from Kamil Donic, Milan Petele, Sylvester Alexievas, and Sean Butcher. Then it is Jana Govaerts. And in 14th place, that is Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz. Then Kilian Belair, Morgan Porter. And then we have Corentin Pelletier in 17th position. Very exciting stuff as they go down the back straight. But it's all going well for Mark Kimber. Danny Curl, having now got past Arno Milizia, is trying to move clear. Got past him in the first sector, so no problems at all for Danny Curl to move forward. Oh, a little bit of a moment, a wayward moment there as the 291 gets sideways. That is Sylvester Alexievas in the middle of a big battle, and they are swapping positions, duking for position. That is the 304 coming around the outside. Sean Butcher to hold on to the position round the outside. Great driving from Butcher to hang on to it. But some terrific squabbling in this one. And there's the queue led by the 214, I think that is. Or is that the 218, actually? That's Danapongpang Satumno, actually, who's lost 2 places in the course of that last corner. Kamil Donic and Carlos Saval both getting through. Satumno now having to fend off the attentions of Milan Petele. Petele going to try and make the move. No, sorry, that is Butcher on the inside of the 300 of Milan Petele himself. And I think Butcher managed to make that move stick. Great racing in the mid-pack as they continue to battle away for position. The top 6 are pretty much sorted for the moment, but 7th place down is still a bit of a mystery, led by Kamil Donic. Here's Danny Curl and Arnold Milizia, 2nd and 3rd place. 4th position for Harry Platten, trying to get close to them. So this is getting very enticing stuff, very interesting. But out in front, Mark Kimber is being allowed to get away. He's 1.1 ahead of Danny Curl. Now that is very impressive. So losing ground to Arnold Milizia at the start has pretty much sealed the deal for Mark Kimber. There he is, 206, still out in front. 6th in last year's championship, making a break for this year's title. But out to the final turn, the 2nd place battle continues for Danny Curl, Arnold Milizia and Harry Platten. Harry Platten in the BMR Academy car to go for the move. Comes Milizia up the inside and gets through past Danny Curl. No hesitation there at all. So with Danny Curl through into 3rd position, Harry Platten in 4th place, Arnold Milizia getting back into 2nd. Kimber has started to skate away, 62.025 for the lap. And that's all that he needs to deal with now, Mark Kimber, just continuing on his pace at the front. No need to stress, no need to worry. Now we've got a couple of drivers down at the back have got into an incident that looks like Rivaldo van der Westerleken and Vincent Cavaliers. We don't have Xavier Hansheim and we don't have Lena Buehler in this one. They should have taken up the start, but I gather mechanical problems for them have kept them at bay. So some disappointments for those two. Harry Platten has now got himself into 3rd position past Danny Curl. This is great work for Harry Platten in this one. So the BMR Academy driver, Harry Platten, having got himself through. Now Vincent Cavaliers has been given a warning flag. I wonder if that's as a result of the incident that has put both him and his combatant down the order. So Vincent Cavaliers down at the back there with the 225 of... I'm trying to remember who the 225 is. My apologies. But Vincent Cavaliers, oh, he is the 225. My apologies. So 2 carts down towards the back of the field, unfortunately, as a result of that little incident earlier on. But Kimber is now 2 seconds clear of Arnold Milizia, with Harry Platten through into 3rd past Danny Curl. And in 5th place, that's Rens van Pelt. So Rens van Pelt continuing on his way. Nicolas Pico is now in 6th from Carlos Saval. Kamil Donic, Sean Butcher up to 9th ahead of Danapongpang Satumno. Then it is Milan Petele. Sylvester Alexievas is 12th. Then it's Morgan Porter in 13th. Romain Leroux is up to 14th now in front of Jana Govaerts. And then we have 5 drivers moving up a place. So I think somebody, whoever was in 16th place, has gone down the order backwards. But it's led by Kilian Belair. Then Louis Westover, Sebastien Degrand. And then we have in 19th position, that looks to me like it should be, I think that's Manel Galoff-Retorne. And then it is Ross Hayes in 20th. So some good battles all the way through. But the 2nd place battle is still where it's at the moment. Kimber in a 61.716 lap time. He has disappeared. Mark Kimber is going to win this race at a canter. Platten's going to go for the move on Arno Milizia. And he gets through. So Harry Platten into 2nd place. Great work from the BMR driver. And we've got a broken down cart in the infield just off to the right of that. I'm not sure who it is that's broken down there at turn 6, but we have somebody who's walking away from the cart. I think It's one of the FA Racing Spain drivers. I was going to say it's Carlos Saval, but it certainly isn't. So I think it might be one of the other drivers further down the order. I wonder if that's Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz, actually, who has dropped down the order. Yes, it is. So Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz, unfortunately, is out of the race. We've got a massive battle going on behind our leaders as they come across the line. And a real tussle. We got someone broken down on the far side on turn 15. We've got a stopping cart. So someone has broken down there. I think it's Romain Leroux. Well, we've lost Silvestre Alexievas, but I think we've lost Romain Leroux from the fray. There's the 291 going very slowly down to the back end of the field. Now that is, the 291 is Silvestre Alexievas, so he's gone a long way down. But I think we've also lost Romain Leroux. Oh, well, no, Romain Leroux came across the line, so I'm trying to figure out who it was that didn't come across the line. Oh, that is Louis Westover. Louis Westover is out of the race. So we've lost Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz, and now we've lost Louis Westover as well with mechanical failure. So they're starting to really pile up the retirements now, but not if your name is Mark Kimber. He's having a great time. So is Harry Platten in second place, hanging on from Danny Curl. So as they come across the line this time, 4 laps to go for Mark Kimber. Mark Kimber doing well, leading the race comfortably, 2.7 seconds clear of Harry Platten and Danny Curl. Arnold Milizia is 4th. Rens van Pelt is in 5th place. Nicolas Pico is still there in 6th. And here is that battle for 2nd place. Platten, Curl, Milizia and Van Pelt. 6th behind them by 9/10 of a second is Nicolas Pico. Then it's Carlos Saval, Camille Donich, Sean Butcher, Morgan Porter in 10th now. And then we have Gouvart, Degrand, Belair, Sutumno down in 14th now. Hayes, Galofratona, Petele, Ushijima, Pelletier, Brandin, Stahauer, Ovaska, Wada, Leroux, Van der Westerlaken, Cavalles and Plancham. Silvestre Alexievas still circling around in 28th as well. But we've lost 4 drivers from this race. Bueller didn't take the start, nor did Xavier Hansheim. And we've lost Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz and Louis Westover. But Mark Kimber leads the way. So Mark Kimber nearly 3 seconds ahead of Harry Platten and Danny Curl now. It's guaranteed now who's going to be winning this race, provided nothing happens to his kart, because Mark Kimber looks back. Where is everybody? I'm just checking out here at the front. Mark Kimber dominating proceedings for the 3rd time today. Harry Platten, meanwhile, is stealing the show in 2nd place behind him as he surges his way further forward. Here he is. Harry Platten in front of Danny Curl, Arnold Milizia and Rens van Pelt as they battle away over 2nd place. There's still some good battles further back down the order as well, but Mark Kimber is nearly 3 full seconds ahead. Here comes Danny Curl into 2nd place. Danny Curl makes the move on Harry Platten and gets through into P2. Now Arnold Milizia is in 4th place. He's going to try and make the move on Platten next, but Platten needs to come straight back at Danny Curl to stop that from happening. Rens van Pelt is about 0.4 of a second back, nearly half a second. He's just got to stay with these guys in case things start to cook up. But Harry Platten looks really strong. He's made a bit of a mistake through 13. That's going to compromise him. He needs to close down into 14. Milizia's getting a little bit hungry and a bit impatient. And now Platten needs to make a charge towards the man in 2nd place, Danny Curl. They come back onto the home straight once again. Curl looks back. So does Platten. Curl is now 2nd. Platten in 3rd. Milizia in 4th position. Curl defends to the inside line. I think he's taken it on the chin that he's not going to win this one. Oh, Platten trying to go for him on the exit. And now Milizia dives down the inside of Harry Platten. That compromises Platten. Now Rens van Pelt's got a chance, but Platten cuts across in time. He's not going to come back through. Platten tried to have a look at Arnold Milizia, but he's not close enough. So Arnold Milizia makes his way into 3rd position. Good move. And that now gives Kimber plenty of breathing space. Over 3 seconds clear. Danny Curl in 2nd. Milizia, Platten, Van Pelt, and possibly Nicolas Pico not far away. Carlos Saval, Camille Donich, Sean Butcher, and Morgan Porter rounding out the top 10. Then it's Jana Gouvart, Sebastien Degrand, Kilian Belair, and then Manofre. Then it is Manofre Golan. No, sorry, that's Manel Golofretone. Then we have Thanapong Bang Saturnu, Ross Hayes, Corentin Pelletier, Gustave Brandin, Milan Petele and Reese Ushijima. Final lap, here we go. And as far as Mark Kimber is concerned, it's an absolute rout. He has disappeared from the rest of the field. There's Arnold Milizia having got himself into 3rd place, but he's not safe and sound yet. This man is Mark Kimber on his 11th and final lap, 3.5 seconds ahead. Look, that's half the length of the back straight ahead of Danny Curl. Arnold Milizia still got pressure from Harry Platten and Rens van Pelt, the Belgian. But the last few corners of this lap are going to be heaven sent for Mark Kimber. He doesn't even need to worry about a thing at this moment. He just keeps on through 12, through 13, running away with it at the front, looking for his third straight heat in his third start. Mark Kimber is determined. I am not going to lose a thing today. He comes out of the final turn, and for the third time of asking, Mark Kimber is victorious again. Oh, the man is dominant at Salbris. Danny Curl is second. Arnaud Milizia is third from Harry Platten and Rens van Pelt. Nicolas Pico rounds out the top 6 with Carlos Saval, Camille Donic, Sean Butcher and Morgan Porter in the top 10 ahead of Kylian Belair and Sebastien Degrand. Manel Golofratone comes home in 13th place, 14th for Jana Kovacs. Thada Pompang Satumnu is 15th place ahead of Ross Hayes, Corentin Pelletier, Milan Petelet, Gustav Brandin and Toisko Avascu rounds out the top 20. But Mark Kimber, with the fastest lap of the race from pole position, gets another victory, his third of the day. Superlative performance. Curl is second, Malizia third from Platten, Van Pelt, Pico, Saval, Donic, Butcher, Morgan Porter, and then Kylian Belair and Sebastien Degrand in the top 12. Fantastic racing and an absolutely magnificent performance. Golofratone fights back to 13th ahead of Jana Kovacs. Then Satumnu, Hayes, Pelletier, Petelet, Brandin, Ovasco, LaRue, Ushijima, Masatora Wada, Kevin Stehauer. And then towards the back end of the grid, we have just the few runners left. Rivaldo van der Westerleken, Vincent Cavalles and Stefan Planchamp. Retirements in the end for Sylvester Alexievas, Louis Westover and Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz. Non-starts from Xavier Hansheim and Lena Bula.